What's going on, sports fans? I'm Aljamain Santos, coming to you from Las Vegas. Welcome to this week's EBC Sports International. We have quite a lineup for you today. Here's what's coming up. Summer League keeps fans' love for the NBA sizzling in Las Vegas. PAX East has collegiate programs taking notice of esports. Glory Kickboxing debuts in Florida. UFC 239 recrowns champions and sets records. Pacquiao shares with EBC what keeps him going in and out of the ring. A veteran experiences true recovery through adaptive sports. Athletes celebrate Warrior Games victories in closing ceremony. It's been a great year for the NBA with storylines that have held the interest of the fans from the regular season all the way to the finals. And the drama hasn't stopped with free agency moves and draft picks sure to shake up the landscape for the next basketball season. NBA fans, players, and coaches got a peek at the up-and-coming talent during the NBA Summer League that took place right here in Las Vegas. Check out what the fans had to say about this summertime attraction. The NBA Summer League that is hosted at the Thomas & Mack has been an attraction for sports fans since its inaugural season of 2004. The desert summer climate is not enough to deter basketball fans from being able to preview some of the league's up-and-coming stars. The marquee matchup between Duke's recently drafted superstars, Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett, ending Friday's debut may be the biggest reason the seats were sold out. Fans from all over the country share their reasons for traveling to Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, we just love the NBA. We've come multiple years and able to see all the young players coming up and, all-day tickets. So we're coming for 2 or 3 days, and you could come here at noon and go all the way till 10 o'clock at night and just watch NBA basketball. It's fantastic. Who do we want to see most, though?
Like Zion, players from the Suns or the Pacers. Those are a few favorite teams, and just the whole NBA as they grow.
My son loves the NBA, and we were here last year, and we were very intimate. We got close to all the players. They're all super nice. Got pictures, and had a ball just watching all the players. That's why we came from Indiana.
We obviously want to see Zion Williamson. So these guys got to see him actually play at Notre Dame in person. I never did, but he looks like he's an amazing player, and I just want to see him in person.
Man, it's the best place to see all the young talent, all the best talent in the world. In college.
Before they hit the court.
Exactly, before they hit the court.
Zion Williamson.
Man, RJ Barrett, Zion, there's a lot of good talent.
Yes,
Cam
sir.
Reddish, there's a lot of good talent, but Zion and RJ for sure. All the teams and all the fans too. You get fans from different places, different spots all over the country. Denver, Minnesota, LA, all around the world.
I'm still definitely team Zion.
Yeah, tonight though, RJ gonna take it, man.
In 2018, the NBA Summer League set the event record for total attendance with 139,972,000, and in 2017, a single-day attendance of 17,500. And with the debut of the anticipated rookies, Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett, it looks as though it may happen again. From the Thomas & Mack here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, I am Aljamain Santos, 1 with 25. It's not only the NBA who has a solid fan base. Esports has exploded onto the scene with fans as passionate as those of the more traditional sports. And now, esports is making its way onto college campuses with the potential of offering scholarships and even careers in the gaming industry. Bobby Soriano has a story from PAX East.
People all over the world recognize March Madness as the excitement of college basketball. But can collegiate esports be as popular? The esports scene has exploded in recent years, thanks to the publicity gaming competitions have found at conventions such as PAX East and online platforms like Twitch. Game developers have also backed large-scale competitions with prize money rivaling that of some mainstream sports competitions. Now, collegiate programs throughout the country are starting to take notice.
Back in 2011, you would be lucky to find a tournament in the next town over worth $50 of a prize pool, and now you could get full ride scholarships. It's been a very strange growth. Like I said, 2011, very small things. 2014, we were able to actually create a tournament at Penn State where we actually got to invite a bunch of other schools to compete with us. And now at 2019, we have over 100 schools that have esports programs like us at Coker.
Colleges are not only looking to students to become professional esports athletes, but they also turn to them to fill out many organizational roles as well.
Broadcasters and doing commentary just like on a normal football game. That's a big one that a lot of kids want to get into, is doing commentary. And then you get into the stuff in administration, tournament organization, coaches, even student coaches are coming up as well. And I'm sure that there's some other things that varsity teams can look to employ with other students.
Yeah, basically anything an organization would need. You would have photographers, social media managers, HR. You see these at the esports programs as well. So now you can think of them as legit businesses, and you think, what does a business need? What does the Atlanta Falcons need? You see that in esports now too.
Despite the growth, esports will still need to break a few more milestones before it becomes as well known as college hoops.
I think realistically the next big milestone is for more than just CLOL to make the front page of Twitch. I think there needs to be some more outside support aside from just the developers, having big conferences and things like that, and kind of getting that all put together.
For me, it'd be more exposure and more traditional media. You actually are seeing this year with ESPN collaborating with Despo, where you're seeing their final tournaments are going to be held in Texas in a live event, and all this is being handled by ESPN. So seeing a big company like that showing their faith in esports is really helping the scene, and I think if they're able to up their publicity of it, it's going to be the next big milestone for it.
Interested in starting an esports program at your school? Be patient, you're not alone.
You're going to hear a lot of no's trying to create a program like this, but they will start to see the value of it eventually, and just you have to also take care of yourself as well, take care of your studies. You don't want to put everything in the club and then you just drop out because of it. So don't be afraid to focus on yourself as well, but and do as much as you can with your club as well.
Find people who you want to play games with and organize, and then maybe talk with your administration and show that, hey, we have a club, and get it sanctioned by the school as a club.
It looks like collegiate esports may have a while before they find their foothold in the mainstream, but it looks like educational institutions are starting to realize their importance. Reporting from PAX East in Boston, my name is Bobby Soriano, and I'm 1 with 25.
Thanks, Bobby. Up next, Glory Kickboxing debuts in Florida. UFC 239 recrowns champions and sets records. Pacquiao shares with EBC what keeps him going in and out of the ring. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is EBC Sports International. Now let's go to martial arts. Kickboxing has been wowing audiences all over the world. Now Glory Kickboxing has finally landed onto Florida soil. Jay Rasquitas has the story. Jay?
Glory, the world-renowned kickboxing promotion, continued to make its benchmark in the U.S. by descending upon Florida soil, giving long-awaited fans a taste of elite kickboxing. The event, Glory 67 Orlando, marks the first time that the organization hosted an event in the state of Florida. Held at Silver Spurs Arena, Glory 67 pitted some of the best fighters in the world against each other. Here's the recap. The prelims had 2 bouts, with one ending in a technical knockout. Local Floridian fighter Jovanis Ross, who was on his Glory debut, suffered a leg injury to the much experienced Nick Chastain in the second round, resulting in a TKO. In the second bout, Taylor Krall defeated Paul Banasiak via judge's decision. Both victors, Chastain and Krall, stated in their post-fight interview that they wished for a victory by way of knockout. but they would settle for the win. Glory's Super Series consisted of 5 bouts, 2 in the lightweight division, 1 in the welterweight, 1 in the featherweight, and 1 in the female category for super bantamweight. Of the 5 bouts, 4 went to unanimous decisions. 2 Floridian fighters were pitted against each other, in which Kimon Diop defeated John Morehouse. Serhiy Adamchuk, out of Ukraine, lost against Kevin Vanelstrand. Vince McGuinness lost to Peter Stanonik, who remains undefeated. Rebecca Irwin, the female fighting prodigy out of Texas, won her second Glory bout over Taylor Jenkins by also way of unanimous decision. Being only 18 years old, Irwin moved up in rankings and in popularity. After the fight, we asked what her advice would be to younger girls who would look up to her and want to pursue a fighting career.
The score is about 29-28. The 2 remaining judges score at 30-27.
The first knockout of the night came in at the 43-second mark of the first round, when Ross Levine landed a head kick on Thomas Diane. Levine's victory marked his 3rd straight for the former 12-time World Sport Karate Champion. The main card consisted of 5 bouts, in which 4 of them resulted in unanimous decisions. The second knockout of the night, which also came in the first round, belonged to Elvis Gashi, who landed a brutal body kick on Justin Houghton. Gashi's 23-second knockout marks a milestone in what could possibly be the fastest knockout in Glory history. In the last fight before the championship bout, Asa Tenpao emerged victorious over Moroccan Hussam El Kasri. After the event, Tenpao acknowledged the support of the crowd in the fight that marked his homecoming to Florida.
It definitely gave me a boost. Definitely, the crowd support in there, got me going, and I wanted to showcase everything that I learned. So.
Most likely, moving up in rankings, Tenpao believes that everyone in the top 10 deserves a shot at the title.
So we'll see. I'd rather fight for the belt because I know I'm going to get everybody that's the best when I have that belt.
Though undefeated, Tenpao plans to travel to Thailand for a month for more training and to sharpen up his performance.
Yeah, the training's always got to change around. I always got to do new things. Can't fight the same fight all the time or you're going to get picked apart. So
in the featherweight championship bout, anticipation grew as Thailand's Pet Panamrong Kiatamuukao would defend his title against Uzbekistan's Anvar Boynazarov. Pech landed his signature thrust kicks along with some devastating lower body kicks on Boynazarov. In the 5th and final round, Pech landed a beautiful sweep on Boynazarov. Eventually, Pech became too much to handle for the Uzbek, successfully defending the featherweight title for the 2nd time. Pech now improves to 162 career wins, with 10 of those in Glory kickboxing, arguably becoming the best pound-for-pound champion in the sport. Glory 67 was an eye-opener for kickboxing fans in Florida. Fans witnessed fights that went the distance to fights that ended with fast knockouts. As for the fighters, their mission in the sport continues to live on through the support of the fans and their training camps. However, fighters like Tenpao drew some awareness about the sport.
Yeah, so being a fighter from Florida is very hard to get high-profile fights. You definitely have to travel, especially as an amateur. So for us, it's very hard. We have a couple amateur tournaments that come through, but it's very difficult for the fighters here. You definitely have to hustle, and you definitely have to get your name out there to get the fights.
And there you have it, signing off. From Silver Spurs Arena in Kissimmee, I'm Jay Raskidas, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Jay. From kickboxing, let's move on to mixed martial arts. UFC 239 will go down in the books as a historic one. The main card had two champions who have had superlatives such as the greatest attached to their names, defending their title. Oh, and yes, a new record was set. I was there to witness everything, from flying knees to gut-busting kicks. Here's the story. An earthquake in Las Vegas may be fitting as a precursor to the events of UFC 239. The clashing of two of the greatest fighters defended their titles against respectable adversaries. John Bones Jones' meeting with Thiago Santos was Jones' 13th title defense. A highly anticipated meeting was a display of technical strategy. Despite the aggression on Santos' part, Jones is declared the victor. He continues to deliver victories to prove he is indeed a champion worth celebrating.
You know, honestly, man, I think my pride was a little intact. I felt like if I were to be the one to shoot, that would mean he was winning in the kickboxing department. I think I could be honest enough to say that. I think my pride was intact. It was a very challenging match on the feet. And I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of having to take him down. I'm here for it to be hard. You know, I want good challenges. And every time I go through crazy battles, I learn a lot about myself. I learn where I'm weak. I learn where I need to improve. Tonight, I'm going to watch this fight probably 8 times. And I want to figure out how other light heavyweights are looking at me right now.
The sound technique of Santos' Muay Thai proved to be the biggest hurdle for Jones, and maybe a saving grace for Santos.
You know, John Jones is unquestionably a great fighter, very intelligent fighter. Always managed to, he's always intelligent in there, you know. And the result wasn't exactly the way I wanted to, but I'm still happy that I went out there and put on a fight, and put on a 5-round fight against who is unquestionably one of the best fighters in the world.
The UFC double champion continues to add victories against top-tier, respected fighters in the sport. Amanda Nunes shares the TKO victory with other women fighters.
The message that I let out there for all those girls, you want to start doing MMA, is like, just believe in yourself, you know. Training, you know, train with the best. Find the best gym to start doing this, the right thing. And yeah, I feel like I'm happy, and what a night, huh?
Yes.
I want to watch again. It's like, it's unbelievable. I'm very happy, and that's it.
The main card also featured a historical finish by George Masvidal, with a 5-second knockout giving Ben Askren his first loss. Hey George, right over here to your left. What's up, man? Aljamain Santos, Eagle Broadcasting. I don't think there's any kind of slow motion camera that can capture those, if they could, capture those 5 seconds. Where in those 5 seconds did you know that you had it in the bag?
As soon as that dude signed the contract, man. As soon as he was acting like he wanted to come forward, and I put my hands behind my back and like signal to him, and he was like, yeah, for sure, I'm putting my face in your crotch. I was like, all right, got you, bro.
The UFC is where dreams are realized or shattered, legacies created or destroyed. We witnessed both in UFC 239 for John Jones and Amanda Nunes. From the T-Mobile Arena here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, I am Aljamain Santos, 1 with 25. From some of the most well-known and respected names in mixed martial arts, let's turn to one of the most recognized names in sports, Pacquiao. As Pac-Man preps for his fight against Keith Thurman, he shares with EBC what he does in and out of the ring to get him ready. Our EBC Los Angeles crew got up close to the champ.
Before the big showdown between Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao and Keith One-Time Thurman at the MGM Grand Las Vegas, Media Day for Pacquiao once again takes place at the Wild Card Boxing Club in Hollywood, California. Now, to give viewers a taste of how a pro boxer trains, I've volunteered to undergo Pacquiao's rigorous training regimen. Well, at least one aspect of it. So, will we be working the heavy bag? Shadow boxing? Or maybe grabbing lunch at Nat's Thai Food, where Pacquiao is known to regularly dine at when he trains in LA. You'll want to wait till the end of the report to find out, and you might be surprised at what I choose. trainers and team members arrived ahead of Pacquiao to answer questions from the media.
You know, it's an honor to work with such a legendary champion, an all-timer like Keith Thurman is one time, Manny Pacquiao is all-time. What was intimidating was my drive over here because I didn't know if I had the job or not, and I had a meeting with Freddie and Sean and Manny, but you know, Manny made me feel really comfortable. The whole team has brought me in to the Pacquiao family. What all-time athletes, what all-time fighters do is they get up for big events. You can just look at his body and you can just tell he's ready to go.
If Manny wants to stop Keith Thurman, Manny's well and truly has the ability to stop Keith Thurman. He's in great shape. He'll peak right on the fight. He's extremely determined. So, you know, it's totally up to Pacquiao whether he wants to stop. We haven't seen this determined to beat an opponent for a long time. We train differently for each fighter. So obviously with this training we've done a lot more different stuff for Keith. A lot more leg work, a lot more agility, more with lateral movement work. And for Pacquiao, after 70 fights, there's not much you're going to be able to show him. You can correct a few things he's doing wrong maybe, or correct a few mistakes maybe, but he needs to be in supreme condition to do what he actually does in the ring. And he will be, and he always is.
If this fight goes the distance, what do you anticipate to see from Thurman in the later rounds?
I like Pacquiao in the later rounds because that's where he usually excels. And Thurman, to me, he starts he's been especially in his last three fight. He starts out quickly and starts fading as the fight goes on.
Are you able to anticipate when Thurman loads up for a power shot? Will Manny's quickness allow him to evade and counter?
I think so at this point, you know, because he does power with his left hand and then he goes with a big overhand right. And that's like, that was one of his favorite moves at one time. But the left hook seems it has taken over in the last fight. And I just don't think he's as much as he was at one time.
What kind of trouble will your opponent be in if Manny starts hitting landing those hard hits combined with his volume punching?
Well, if these people get out of the ring pretty soon, you'll see it. He's a good puncher. He's great. His speed's unbelievable. Not just his hand speed, his foot speed. And Manny's a very complete fighter. He depends on me to watch tape, to come up with a game plan. And then we sit down and talk, and because Manny gets really bored watching TV. Like someone asked him, "Do you watch TV?" He doesn't watch TV. He's too active. That's too slow for him. He'd rather be out playing basketball. He likes darts and he's good at darts. Yes, he did lose to Ricky Hatton in the last throw though. But that was a while ago. But he won the fight though.
Next, it was time for the main event of Media Day to enter the ring. We asked Manny Pacquiao what are some of his opponent's strengths that he has to be prepared for on July 20.
Well, his left hook and right hook, he loves to throw that, and then we have to be very careful on that. And then I think with my fastest footwork, fastest hands, I can overpower that and move around like that and be aggressive. He's throwing punches outside, so I'm throwing punches inside.
How have your beliefs guided you inside and even outside the ring?
Oh, I have faith to God that He will protect me, and not only me, but even my opponent also, and the fighters that are going to fight on that night. Praying to God that will bless us and protect us all.
Will there be karaoke after the fight?
Celebration.
A bona fide superstar and 8th division champ, Manny Pacquiao has certainly earned the right to hang up his gloves. But even after all his accomplishments, the Pac-Man's passion for the sport hasn't diminished. And on July 20, he aims to pit his experience, conditioning, and will against a tough opponent in Keith Thurman, and once more prove that he deserves to stand toe-to-toe with the boxing world's finest. Reporting from Hollywood, California, I'm Alan Valsoyahe for EBC Sports International, and I'm 1 with 25. Taste like I'm gonna need more training.
Thanks, Alan. Coming up, Steve Davis, Navy veteran and sitting volleyball gold medalist, experiences true recovery through adaptive sports. and veterans celebrate Warrior Games victories in closing ceremony. And we're back. EBC's been covering the Warrior Games and have shown the victories these athletes have achieved. Competitor Steve Davis gives us some insight. For him, adaptive sports wasn't just getting onto a podium and winning a medal. It meant something so much more. Melissa Allen has the inspiring story.
Each year since 2010, the Department of Defense's Warrior Games has provided hundreds of wounded, ill, and injured service members and veterans an opportunity to compete in a variety of adaptive sports as a way to help foster rehabilitation and recovery. EBC spoke with U.S. Navy veteran and sitting volleyball gold medalist Steve Davis, who also competed in the event's basketball and rugby games. He was injured in 2008 and lost part of his leg after deployment, just a few years into his military career. Davis said that he didn't experience true recovery until he began participating in adaptive sports and explained how it continues to help him.
The sports, the camaraderie, the people, it helps mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It just lifts me up every single time.
To Davis, the Warrior Games mean so much more than winning medals.
It gives me a chance to be free. It gives me a chance to be a part of something bigger than myself again. It gives me a chance to give back to my brothers and sisters who are where I used to be, in the dark, in the very beginning of their recovery, where they are so lost and don't know what to do. And for me to come back as a mentor / leader to help these guys and girls on their way to this amazing recovery program that this program gives us is just a great opportunity.
After watching the stands, one might conclude that behind every strong warrior is a strong family rooting for and supporting them. The 2019 Warrior Games Family Program, through primary sponsor the Fisher House Foundation and other sponsors such as Hope for Warriors, helped provide 550 family members complimentary accommodations, transportation, meals, and other services to assist families in giving the athletes their full support throughout the games.
Family programs is a huge piece, you know. I think sometimes when we think about Warrior Games, we're just thinking about the Warriors and what they've been through, and it's a big deal what they've been through, right? I mean, all these injuries through combat or illnesses. But when we think about what the family provides for them and the support that they have and the people being there to be able to recuperate or heal and find healing and having their families here. So when they're competing here, knowing that they have that here, rooting for them, cheering them on. Even yesterday, talking to an athlete was like, man, just hearing the family and the staff and everybody rooting for me, just every time I was feeling tired from, rolling my wheelchair, just hearing people rooting for me was just so big for me, and it made me want to go further. And that's the hope, that families can be here, our staff can be here to support that and to encourage them to continue.
The family program also helps ensure that the athletes can have quality family time together at the Warrior Games.
You don't have your service member traveling away from the family. The family's here, they're engaged, they're part of the whole thing, and that makes it a little bit less stressful on the system.
Davis, a husband and father of 2 young children, stressed the importance of having the family program at the Warrior Games.
The family program is something that needs to be a part of this organization from the beginning all the way through, just because we draw so much energy from them. But for them to be stuck, if you will, at a sports venue, it's great for them to have an outlet through the family program, that they have these games to go do, the outreach centers, the respite places where they can grab food and water, and they love being a part of it. They love having all the other service members' children around too, to where we can play with them, and there's a lot of camaraderie even between service branches, to where my kids will play with Air Force kids or Marine kids, because a lot of us know each other outside of here. So the family program is super important in that aspect.
Steve Davis was one of 304 athletes who participated in this year's games. He hopes to pay it forward one day by helping out with the Warrior Games and assisting future athletes with their recoveries.
I will give back to this program 100 times if I'm given the opportunity. I just love this program. It means the world to me.
With the 2019 Warrior Games coming to a close, the excitement and inspirational stories continues with EBC's coverage of the much-anticipated closing ceremony to be hosted by comedian and longtime Warrior Games supporter, Jon Stewart. Signing off from Tampa, Florida, I'm Melissa Allen, and always 1 with 25.
Thank you, Melissa. It's great to know that adaptive sports have played such an important role in the recovery of wounded military veterans. And events such as the Warrior Games were established for the benefit of these military veterans. Jay Rasquitas has the closing ceremony of the 2019 Warrior Games. Jay?
After an exhausting yet inspiring 10-day competition, the Warrior Games athletes came out one last time to conclude this Olympic-style sporting event for 2019. In the closing ceremony, the U.S. Armed Forces, along with their allies of the UK, Canada, Denmark, Netherlands, and Australia Defense Forces, came out to celebrate their team's victories. Each team took the stage to honor their Heart of the Team, which is an award given to a team member that exemplifies leadership, determination, and other noble characteristics of a team character. The Ultimate Champion title, which is given to the individuals who acquired the most points in 8 sporting events, were also put on display. The bronze medal was awarded to Staff Sergeant Army veteran Ross Allewine. In a surprising but inspiring display of recognition, there was a tie for a second place, which was given to Brett Campfield of the U.S. Air Force and Casey Turner of the U.S. Army. The gold medal was awarded to Shante Gonzalez of the U.S. Air Force. Jon Stewart, one of the celebrity ambassadors of the Warrior Games, emceed once again. A frame of the Tampa City skyline with the coins of the various armed forces was presented by General Richard D. Clark and the team captains of each defense force as a token of appreciation of his ambassadorship of the Games. Adaptive sports proved to be big in this year's Warrior Games, as there were 3 new events with hopes that the Warrior Games Committee will continue to make the sport larger.
We added golf and we added wheelchair tennis for the first time. We gave out 800 different awards of bronze, gold, silver with thousands of different competitions. And I'd like to think it all went flawlessly thanks to just a great support group. Along the way, 39 new records for individual on the way to gold. Way to go, athletes.
In the final part of the ceremony, representatives of the Marine Corps received the passing of the torch, which signified where next year's Warrior Games will take place, and that will be in San Antonio, Texas.
And that's a wrap from Tampa. Hope you guys enjoyed our coverage of the 2019 Warrior Games. I'm Jay Rasquitas, always 1 with 25.
That is it for this week's EBC Sports International. Make sure you join us on our next episode, but before then, visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews and on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews. Thanks for watching. I am Aljamain Santos, 1 with 25.